Hi, I'm Coach Michael Burt. To get a free copy of my book, Inside the Mind of a Monster, text 678-506-7543. Text to get a copy of my book, Inside the Mind of a Monster, and I'm going to turn you into a legendary creature. I love that, the immersive, what I call the immersive experience. And I was teaching my team, we're going to get into the EOS, but I was teaching my team concepts from our legacy selling system this morning. And yesterday, I was doing the breakdown, the audio version of the book Legacy Selling, which is a new book I have out. And it's basically my entire selling system broken down. And as I was reading through the selling system, it reminded me of how robust the system is, number one. And it reminded me that very few people are using the full utility of the selling system. Okay, so if you've been watching The Last Dance about Michael Jordan and the Bulls, they use the triangle offense that Tex Winter created. I used that offense when I was a basketball coach, and it has 38 variations out of that offense, meaning 38 different ways you maneuver depending on where the ball is. Well, I think of a selling system as being that robust. Like when you have a good selling system, you have all of these variations. Like I go this route and it don't work, and I pivot to this. I will use this and I pivot to this. So one of the parts of the selling system is what's called the aspirational contact. And the aspirational contact is where every week you reach out to and up to people that you have a deep respect for, and you try to spend time with those people. And the ideal is people you watch on YouTube, people you watch on Instagram, people you've read their books. You find a way to get in their presence, and ultimately they become your friends. Okay. And that's the aspirational contact. Like if you read Maxwell books growing up, you find a way to get close to Maxwell, and Maxwell not becomes just a contact that you met one time or he signed a book for you. He becomes an advocate for you, and he opens his networks up for you. And the reason I'm telling you that is because last night I was on a show called World Shakers with Tim Story. Tim Story's a celebrity life coach out in Hollywood, and he has the World Shaker Network, and he does these Sunday night lives, typically with celebrities. They're averaging about 125,000 people watching those. And I did this smaller version with him last night. And at the end of it, he said, I want you to come on in 2 weeks and be on Sunday Night Live, and I'll put you in front of 125,000 people. And it's going to be me and Tim Grover, who wrote Relentless, and I think Grant Cardone that wrote the 10X Rule. Now, my point to you is when you're selling, we look at things as finite. Like I can only go this way or that way. I can't. I tell my people, no deal is off the table. There is no person you can't get in touch with. There is no option that's not an option for you. Where there is a will, there is a freaking way, guys. And I think sometimes in selling, we call a person. I call Dan, and if Dan don't answer, I go, well, I couldn't get in touch with him. I don't ever step back to go, well, who's connected to Dan? Who could introduce me to Dan? Who knows Dan? Who's influencing Dan? Most studies say that people are consulting up to 4.7 to 5 people when they make a buying decision. Okay, if you ever read the Challenger sale, they're not just making a decision. They're talking to somebody. Like I talk to my president about every decision I make. I talk to my wife. I talk to key influencers. There's one person that I would consider like my personal CFO. I make big financial decisions. I talk to him. Like if you were trying to sell me something, I'm going to go talk to all those people. So if you won those people over and you had their support, it's a whole lot easier to sell when you understand who's influencing the decision. And a great book that talks about that is called The Challenger Sale and The Challenger Customer. Okay. And those are social scientists that wrote that. And I believe that. Like me trying to make a sale to Tim Mackin. Tim Mackin's talking to other people too. He's talking to 3 or 4. Tim, how many people would you say you talked to about me being the coach of the team?
Oh, at least 4, on a regular basis, maybe as many as 6.
So when you think about it, he's living proof that happens, right? You got to win the support of these people. He's got to go sell people, right? So I just want you to understand that the aspirational contact, every week, you guys need to be reaching up to people and spending time with big time people and reaching out to people. I was just sending text messages to people Okay. I think I sent you one, Tim, but I'm going to send it to you again because I just did a recording. I just did a recording on the value of a coach. Now, and what I'm doing is I have a thought, okay, and I'll put click to listen. And it's talking about value versus cost. Like you look at the cost of something, but you need to be thinking about the value of something. If each one of you paid me $1,000 a month to be your coach, but you made 50 more thousand a month, would that be a good investment? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, you gave me 12,000. You may be looking like, man, I'd never give the dude $12,000. But what if you made 600 as a result of giving me 12? See, there's a difference between cost and value. Okay. Now, when I go to the airport today and I get in the airport and I want a sandwich, they've raised the price of that sandwich. That sandwich is going to be $5, where I could get that sandwich for $3 outside the airport. But what's the cost of me leaving the airport, getting in a car, driving to get the sandwich, coming back, going back through security? Is it worth the $2 that I would save to go back? There's a cost and there's a worth, right? There's a cost. You understand what I'm saying? The cost of me leaving is much greater than the cost of me just buying a sandwich for $5 at the airport. So why am I telling you this? You guys have got to become world-class at selling increase, meaning you're not selling a product, you're selling an increase. And a sale has to be made. You have got to convince other people that with your technology, you will make them or save them significant amounts of money. Okay? You will remove friction from their life. You will have a better experience. You will have more data, and you can turn that data into more money, right? When we changed CRMs and went to a new CRM that was tied to my ClickFunnels, that was tied to my selling system, that was tied to my sales team, and I could sit there and say, well, the CRM's got $1 million sitting in it. We just got to go in there and get it. We're collecting more data than we've ever collected. You know, I think I produced 563 leads in the month of April. Okay. Now through what I was doing in April. Now, I don't know if you would consider that a lot of leads or little leads, but I was producing 1,000 a month in January, February, March, because I was speaking so much more. But 563 leads is still a significant amount of leads for my sales team to work, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So here's the deal. That tells me what I'm doing is working. I'm producing leads. Now, is those leads producing money? Now it comes down to what we're going to talk about today. It comes down to how good is my team at explaining our value? How good is my team at opening a conversation, initiating, disarming, locating a significant problem, offering a compelling solution? Okay. And it's been clear to me during this cycle that some of my salespeople have been much better than others. Some have really struggled during this cycle. Some have not struggled at all. So for you got to ask yourself, there's a conversion piece. Like I coach a lot of insurance people and they make X number of calls per day. It typically takes an hour to sell. It's very easy for them to say, we got a 13% close ratio. Coach, if we improve the close ratio from 13% to 18%, we're going to make a lot more money. We're going to make a lot more money. So in your opinion, how does the EOS play into the closing? Dan, let me call on you. You look like you got a cool office space. Your space looks cooler than my space. Okay. What?
You're muted.
Let me unmute you there, big guy. Can you unmute you? There you go. How do you think the EOS plays into improving your closing ratios? I see him.
Hey, Dan, you're still muted.
I see him talking, but I can't hear him.
We still can't hear you, buddy.
All right. I'll come back to you. That's okay. I'll come back to you. Luke, what about you, big guy? How does the EOS play into the selling cycle?
Well, just as you were kind of saying, Coach, if we aren't able to maximize every contact, then, and by doing that, you know, giving them a proper EOS, then it's really wasted time.
Yep. Do you believe time equals money?
Yeah. I mean, you can't buy time, right?
All right. What are your three? Do you have three compelling belief statements?
Well, one of mine relates a little bit to time. My first one is about efficiency. I believe in efficiency. And every day we only have 24 hours. And, you can't buy that time. You got to make the most of every hour. So as I move into what I actually do and how I kind of spin that is what I'm planning on kind of pitching is what I do is improve business communication systems and their processes to ensure internal and external collaboration is fast.
Okay. How do you feel about that?
I think that's a little bit too long, maybe for the third point there. And it's kind of a quick spin, like moving right into kind of talking about the collaboration or the communication systems.
All right, let me sexy that up for a second. All right, let me say the same thing he said, but say it in a stronger way. I believe time is a depreciating asset. I believe we all get the same amount of time, 86,400 seconds a day, 168 hours in a week, 24 hours in a day. Right? The people who maximize that time, right, are the people that win the most in our world. I'm saying the same thing you just said. I'm just saying it in a little bit more compelling way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What I want you to do when I say that is you to go, dang, he's right, man. I never thought about time as a depreciating asset. Okay. We only get 86,400 seconds in a day. We get 168 hours in a week. Okay. I believe time is money. And most people don't think about it until you say it like that. Okay. Then you pivot and say, because of those beliefs, let me tell you what it is we do. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. And because the compelling belief has got to be so strong, guys, your beliefs cannot be bland. They can't be vanilla. If you understand the brain loves to ignore anything that it thinks is common, that it's normal. Like it ignores it. Anything it thinks it's heard before, seen before, it ignores it. Okay. This is why when I wrote Zebras and Cheetahs, I wore a zebra print jacket when I spoke. You know why? It was different. I was the only person in the room that looked different than everybody else. I got attention. And I couldn't sell them anything until I got their attention. And then I wore it to the airport one day, and you would have thought Elvis was in the airport. Okay? Because people were just looking at me and asking me, dude, what's up with the jacket? I think I told you guys when I wrote the book Zebras and Cheetahs, I did a book signing at the airport, and I tried to rent a real life cheetah from the zoo to do the book signing. Like I called the zoo and said, can I rent a cheetah? And the zoo people are like, no, man, it's a wild animal. Like you can't take a cheetah to the airport. So I had to go to plan B. But my point was, what I'm trying to make to you, Luke, is that when you come out of the gates with a lukewarm belief, then people look at you, they're sitting there like this. They're like, okay. When you come out of there and you punch them, boom, and you shake them up and it's like, dang, that's good. Man, I believe time is a depreciating asset. I believe we only get this much time in a week. Time is money. And they're going to go, I believe, yeah, that's right. Time is money. Okay, good. Because of that, let me tell you what it is we do. Okay? And I ask people, do you understand the difference between a liability and an asset? Asset adds time, adds energy, adds money, adds creativity, adds resource. Right? Okay. Now, when we use, I know you guys don't only sell, Nextiva, but I use the Nextiva system and, which allows me to track my salespeople, talk times, number of calls they make. I can listen to their phone conversations. The way you would sell that to me is how much more money will you make, Coach Burt, if you knew all these things? You follow what I'm saying? If you knew how many calls, if you believe in, like if you know me and you say, look, I know you believe in the law of diffusion. And I know you believe in making 80 calls a day, and you can now track those calls. I know you're a competitor. I know you can make it a competition. You can gamify it. Okay. Because of that, we're going to give you a system, coach, that allows your depersonality allows your D personality to feel like you got a lot more control, right? You're going to track the calls. You can listen to the conversations. You can do this. You can coach. Now, coach, we don't know how much more money you can make, but we believe that you may be able to make $1 million more a year like this. Okay. Does that sound good to you? There's 3 things we're going to do. I may say, I don't even care what you do. I may say, Jason Weller, don't even matter what you do. If you can make me $1 million more a year, put it in. Let's roll. Everybody see where I'm going with this? Okay. So the beliefs are very, very, very strong. You got to have strong beliefs. You got to come out of the gates with, this is what I believe. And I don't even care if they're somewhat controversial. I believe if you have a message that don't repel some people, you won't have a message that attracts the right people. Everybody understand what I'm saying? Your beliefs cannot be lukewarm. And I'm not saying Luke's were. I'm just saying, hey, lukewarm. Here's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that his were lukewarm. I'm just making a very strong point here that when you get a short period of time, you got to punch somebody right in the face. I believe this. All right. So that's good. We're on the right track, Luke. I like your time concept. I think you just got to sexy it up some.
Yeah.
All right. Let's call on somebody else. James Smotes, Jim Smotes' uncle. Let's call on somebody.
John Smoltz uncle.
John. Yeah, that's right.
There you go.
Sorry
Okay, so
First ballot Hall of Famer.
I could get a Hall of Fame name.
that just helped me a lot after watching your event the other night. I kind of went down a similar path to Luke. So I believe the business world is changing at a faster pace than ever before. Internet, voice, and security, the most important tools business uses. So that's how I always started out. And I usually do when I'm running appointments. High-speed internet, cloud security, and digital voice products. It used to be that only large corporations could use these. You're now seeing cloud communications on regular TV and radio announcements at night during comedy shows. I break those technologies down to a simple solution at an affordable cost for every business, no matter what size. A thorough analysis of your business allows me to fit you with the right products. One size does not fit all, but everyone has something that can improve their business. Those are kind of my first 3.
Okay.
But now with what you said, I've got to add, I liked what you said about if I could do this, would it? You got to get some yes answers in that from the customer. So that was brilliant what I just heard you tell Luke.
Now, what he's talking about, and Tim, did we send you that replay of the sales marathon for your guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. You guys really need to watch that and watch it in a creative state. It's me and 2 guys going back and forth on the whole sales process for like 2 hours. It was really, really powerful.
Oh, you're talking about the one from last Thursday night or Wednesday night?
Yeah, we sent that out to everybody, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, we sent one of Coach Burt's half-hour ones of his belief statements.
Here, if I didn't send it, I'm going to send it right now.
Yeah, send us that one. I didn't get that.
Yeah, watch this one because we break down the whole piece. When we talk about seeding, now what James was talking about there was seeding, and seeding is where you ask.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
we
sir.
can hear you now, Dan.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to come back to you, Dan, because I'm going to get you in here. What seeding is where you ask questions like, would you consider yourself open to new possibility if we could find a way to help you generate more revenue, if we could buy back time, if we could do this, would you consider yourself open to that? And seeding is them going, yes, I consider myself open. Yes, I'm listening. Yes, I'm interested. Now, then I go, great. Sometimes I seed first and then I go into the conversation, which is great. Let me tell you a few things I believe. Now, what I heard you say during that period, James, was this is a way sexied up. I believe it's not the big that eat the small in today's world. It's the fast that eat the slow.
I love that.
See, I took what he said and I just added a little pizzazz to it. That's actually on the back of my book, Zebras and Cheetahs.
I believe it's give me that again. I believe it's
I believe it's not the big that eat the small. It's the fast that eat the slow.
Love that. Okay.
Okay. Now that statement's like, if I'm a small guy and I got a small company, I'm like, dang, that's good. That's right. I believe the same thing, man. I want to compete with the big boys. Okay.
Perfect.
So that's a way to say that. I like 3 belief statements, guys and girls. That way you can pivot. I like for you to clearly know your premise. Why do you believe what you believe? I like, tell me specifically what you're going to do in layman's terms. I like for you to know your differential advantage. And I like for you to give me some examples of people you've worked with. Like, give me some success stories. And then I like an ask.
So I have a question. Generalized, like I did medical, dental, law, small business. Do we actually want a business name near them? Meaning, Beaumont Medical.
Yep.
Do
If
we
you're,
actually give
you don't
them
have to, you don't have to, but anytime I'm in an industry, I give examples of other people in that industry. I've worked with so-and-so just like you. Like, I was selling a girl from Rush Cycle yesterday, which is a new franchise, and she's struggling. All the Rush Cycle people are struggling because they can't get people in on the bikes. And during the thing, I said, I've helped Gold's Gym. I've helped Orange Theory Fitness gym owners. I've helped small boutique gym owners. And even during the call, I asked for a referral during the sales call. I said, are some other your friends that are franchise owners struggling right now? She said, absolutely. And I said, well, can you introduce me to those people? Because what I'm going to help you with, they need to help too. And you do want to help your friends, don't you? She's like, absolutely. And I'm like, okay. So I'm asking for a referral right in the middle of my sales pitch. And she's giving it to me. So you guys have got to see Jocko Willink wrote, this Navy SEAL, he wrote Extreme Ownership and, Dichotomy of Leadership. What he talks about in that book is discipline equals freedom. When you're very disciplined, you have the flexibility. And I think the EOS, that's what I think about the EOS. Man, I have so much fluidity where I can move with this EOS. I can pivot. Great. Let me tell you what I believe. Oh, let me tell you a couple ways we're different. Thank you for asking. Let me tell you how we're different. Oh, let me give you some examples of people we work with. Right? Oh, let me give you 3 things that we do. Like, I have so much fluid nature because I have the discipline to learn this structure. I can move. I can do it in 1 minute. I can do it in 10 minutes. I can do it in a social setting. I can do it in a formal setting. I can do it on a video. I can do it in it, right? Like when I sent you, Tim Mackin, when I just sent you that message, I'm basically going straight at business owners and I'm saying, look, I believe there's a difference between cost and worth. You're looking at invested money in a coach, but you think it's a cost. If I helped you make this much money, you wouldn't see it as a cost. You'd see it as an investment. So I sent that to all the business owners that are in my deal. Here's what I believe. I believe there's a difference between what something costs and what something's worth. How many of y'all believe the same thing? Okay. Yep. Well, especially if you're selling a product that's more expensive. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Now, when my president comes to me and says, hey, we can cut this, I go back to my beliefs. I believe there's a difference between cost and worth. What is that relationship from that Nextiva rep worth to me? Well, he got me in to speak at NextCon. Well, he's introduced me to other business owners. So now it's not just dollar for dollar. I'm paying for a phone system and technology. I'm actually paying for a relationship. And if his relationship capital is greater than the cost to me as a business owner, I stick and stay because it's bound to pay. You know what I'm saying? Now, so everybody understand everybody get where I'm going with this? Like, I'm looking at this from the whole picture. You're looking at it from you're selling something and there's a cost to it. The business owner, if you're selling it that way, they're saying there's a cost to it. And they're saying, I ain't willing to pay that cost when I could pay Comcast and save $200 a month. That's what they're thinking. Here's the real worth of my relationship to you. And it's way greater than this. Now, let me give you one example. Then I want to come back to Dan. I have a banker that I've used for years on all my big real estate deals. And he charged me a higher percentage point than other bankers. And other bankers came to me and said, Coach, I know you buy all this real estate. We could give it to you at 5%. He's charging you 5.5% on these deals. So I go to him and I said, hey, man, all these other bankers are courting me and they're telling me they'll give it to me at 5%. And he said, I'm so glad that you asked me that question. I've been waiting on you to ask me that question. And he reached behind his desk and he pulled out a spreadsheet and he said, here's the last 4 real estate deals you've done. Here's what it would cost you at 5%. Here's what it cost you at 5.5%. And it was this much difference, right? And he said, now let me ask you a question, Coach Burt. Based on what I bring to you, my knowledge, my skill, my desire, my confidence, he said, am I worth that extra percentage? And I'm like, you are. And you know what I said? I'll never ask you again. You want to charge me extra percentage? Because you're worth it. Everybody see what I'm going with this?
Yep.
The worth is greater than the cost to me. If
You
it
should
any
have said out, can I charge you a percent more? Because I'm worth that much.
say that again.
I'm saying he should have said to you, can I charge you a percent more because I'm worth that much?
That's right. He could say that. He'd be stretching it if he got me to 5.6 though. Now, here's what I'm saying to you. He was teaching me a lesson, guys. I'm better than those other bankers. And because I'm better, I'm more expensive. Now, it's up to you. You want to go some bozo banker, pay 5%, get bad advice, get yourself in all kinds of trouble, get over leveraged. I'm protecting you. And there's a cost to that. So I want you guys to understand, if you say, I believe there's a difference between cost and worth. I believe, ever how you want to say it. I believe it's not the big that eat the small, it's the fast that eat the slow. To Luke's point, I believe time is the most precious commodity we have. I believe time is a depreciating asset. Like you're punching people in the face with these strong statements. Dan, what you got, big guy? I'm bringing you in.
All right, what are we looking for? What are you looking for?
Yep. If you were to come out of the gates with your belief statements, what would you say? And do you think they're strong enough? Let me hear your belief statements.
I would say that every business needs to grow and improve or it will die, and the clock is ticking.
I like that. That's right. Go with the morbid approach. I like that.
Yeah, I like that one.
The Undertaker's coming out. Now here's my point. I agree with you. I believe that. Let me say this. Let me say it like this. Same thing. I believe every business is in one of three states. It's either dynamic, it's static, or it's entropic. I believe every business is in one of three states. It's growing, it's stuck, or it's dying. Everybody see that? I said the same thing he just said. I just said it in a way where they go, that's an interesting way of looking at it. How many of y'all see stuck businesses that you call on every day?
All the time.
Yeah, and people see that's a problem. I get business because of stuck people. If everybody was dynamic, they wouldn't need a coach. Okay, so to me, that's a problem. Hey, my business is stuck. I feel stuck. I feel static. I feel complacent. I'm in a rut. I need a way out. I need a new plan. I believe all businesses are in three states: dynamic, static, or entropic. Okay, because of that belief, here's what we do. We help your business stay dynamic. And let me tell you what that means: alive, vibrant, quick, speed, curious. We provide the tools for your business to be dynamic versus static. Okay. Now I'm just coming off the cuff, just listening to some of your stuff, but I just want to tell you that, like, I listen to EOSs every day, guys, and I could pick one out. When I had a business coach one time, he made me write out what I did 100 times in 100 different ways. And I would have to get up in front of the group and share each one. And he would say in front of the whole group, that sucks. He's like, don't ever say that. That's terrible. You know which one I hit it on? Number 38. On number 38, he went like this. He went, boom, that's it. That's what you do. That's good. 100 times, that was my assignment. Write it out 100 times what you think you and your company does in 100 different ways. And it was number 38 that he said, now we're getting somewhere, coach. That's the importance of hitting this right. All right, so Dan, because of your beliefs, I agree with you. All businesses are living or dying, okay? I'm positionally official, the Undertaker. Now, what do you do?
What do I do? Hold on, I've got 100 things written down here, and it's not quite organized.
All right, give me your best one or two.
All right. What I do is I help companies become more efficient, profitable, and productive.
Okay. All right, explain that to me. How do they become more efficient?
Let's see. I help them grow and improve through technology.
Okay. All right, let's say I'm just dumb as a box of rocks. All right, and I'm like, well, give me concrete examples of what you do.
So I work with small to medium-sized businesses throughout Southeast Michigan.
Okay.
And I help them grow and improve. For example, Michigan Healthcare Professionals, I help them go from 5 locations to 27 in 3 years.
Okay. That's good. Now we're getting into some numbers. Now, all right. Now I want to revert back to something I taught you guys early on called the flash roll. Does anybody remember the flash roll? The flash roll is a negotiating tactic where you overwhelm the prospect with your technical brilliance. Okay. Now it'd be like you coming in my condo down here, Dan, and going, Coach Burt, I know you do a lot of Zooms. I know you do it around the country. I know you do that. You probably have the most basic package from Comcast. And although that seems like a good package for you, you don't really want to break down in the middle of a international summit that you're doing. And you do want to be able to do these business things from your condo, right? So your system only has this much juice, and that's really going to be a problem for you here. What I'd like to do is upgrade you to this and give you this. And when you have these 3 things added on, this system's never going to break down, Coach, when you're right in the middle of one of these summits, especially if you want to work more from your condo in Nashville. And you just overwhelm me with your technical brilliance. And I'm sitting there going, okay, you're right, right? That's a flash roll. A flash roll is, let me tell you what we do. Because when I'm asking you how you help a business grow, what I'm really asking you is specifically, what do you do? We increase this. We add this. We bring in this structure. What we have found is this. And I want you to kind of overwhelm me with your technical brilliance. Okay. Now we have a guy, I'll go back to my guy who's trying to sell me. I have a loft. I have all these places around the country, and I have a loft that I really like back in my home city. And it's right down the hall from my office. It's like a private suite for me to work from. And then I have a Greatness Factory. In the Greatness Factory, I have the highest internet speed. I have the highest technology, but it's where my employees work. So sometimes I need privacy, and I need to go down to the loft and do these sessions where I can coach people, and they don't have a bunch of noise. And well, this guy's been trying to sell me hardwiring the internet. It'll never break down on you, Coach Burt, but it's this expensive compared to what you currently have. Now, I could just walk down to the Greatness Factory and do it, or I could go to my loft to do it. And he's not been able to convince me that it's worth me investing the money in. Now, so he's going to have to get better at his pitch. Coach, I believe this. I believe this. I believe every time you walk back down there, it costs you 2 minutes. 2 minutes added up every day, 4 times a day. Okay. That's 8 minutes a day times 5. That's 40 minutes a week. 1 hour. What's 1 hour of your worth? 1 hour of your time worth, Coach? Oh, it's worth this much money. That's how much time you're wasting. Every single time you have to go back and forth. Now, if I could put this system in and it costs you this, I know it seems like a lot of money, Coach, but let me tell you the value and the worth of this. Okay. And by the way, what's the irritation factor to you, Coach? What's the emotional tax for you having to go back and forth between your loft and your place? Okay. Now, see, now he's challenging me. Okay. If I believe time is money, you're costing yourself 40 minutes a week going back and forth doing these things when we could just add this for $200 more. Now, I know it seems like $2,400 more to you, Coach, and I know you're in a cost control mode right now because of COVID, but I'm telling you, this is a great option for you. Matter of fact, I put a package together that includes all your properties. So when you're at your lodge, you got what you need. When you're at your house in Florida, you got what you need. When you're at your condo, you got what you need. And I'll bundle the whole package together, and I'll make it worth your time and money. I promise you. Everybody see that?
Yeah, Coach, I'd like to show you what we could provide you. Are you available after this call at 2 o'clock? Because we do the same thing.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'll be on an airplane at 2 o'clock.
Okay, we can do it tomorrow.
Okay.
But I get your point.
You see, you don't need to let me out that easy. See,
You need to use an airplane that uses Viasat.
Yes, we have Viasat. You can do this on your
now,
plane.
let me tell you something. Do you know how much for me to put internet on my jet? Do you know how much it will cost me? They tell me ridiculous amounts of money to put internet on my jet. I've asked.
I'll tell you what, Coach. I'm going to figure that out for you because you're not talking to the right people.
Yeah,
Talk
I
about
will like
that.
it, Tim.
I'm serious. I'm going to help you out here because how often are you on that plane?
Isn't that my sale?
No, that sale belongs to Tim, but that's the wrong Tim there, buddy.
Yeah.
Timmy!
it's not just how often I'm on it, because I rent it when I'm not on it. And so it's the value that it could
All
provide
right.
for the renters that use it as well.
Would you
as
like Tim to provide you with
I'm
the
gonna hook you
internet
up. No, I'm gonna hook you
that's
up.
on Air Force One?
I'm gonna hook
Because
you
we
up
can
with
provide
Viasat.
you Air Force One, correct?
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of doing a big deal with them, so I got leverage right now.
Okay, good. I'm open. I'll take it to my partner, me and one other guy on that jet. All right. Now let's go back to this concept. I got a question. The question was, is the flash roll number 3 on the EOS, from Dan? And that's a great question, Dan. Here's what I would tell you about the flash roll. When I use it, yes, I use it in step number 3 of the EOS, meaning this is what we're going to do. Sometimes I use that to explain, the flash roll is you overwhelming them. Okay. If I thought you were a high C personality on a DISC profile, that tells me you need lots of assurance. So I would say, Dan, let me give you an example. I've worked with a company that had 43 different locations. That was 500 people in 43 different cities. And my goal was to increase their speed by this and make them this much money. Now, let me tell you how successful we were. We were able to get them a 43% increase in their revenue because of what we did. And here's the 3 things we did. We did A, B, C. Everybody see how I use the flash roll right there? So what I'm doing is I'm an expert. They're not an expert. You're showing them, hey, look, man, I know what I'm doing. This comes from a book called Flip the Script by Oren Klaff. Oren Klaff wrote Pitch Anything and Flip the Script. And Flip the Script is how you become the buyer versus the seller. Right? You're a true expert. Now, the reason I was pushing you so hard, Dan, is because when you're talking to people, I want to use an example. If you were on my basketball team, if Jason Weller was on my basketball team and he wasn't playing and he wanted to play, and he came to me and said, Coach, why am I sitting on the bench? I could say very vague things like, well, you need to get faster, or you don't pay attention, or you need to work harder. Or I could say, Jason, let me be very specific. You don't do this. You don't run this set correctly. You don't set screens like you're supposed to. You don't show up 30 minutes early for practice. You're the first one out the door. Notice how specific I'm being with him. Now, if you show up early, learn how to set a screen properly, run the play right, you're probably going to play a lot more. That's specific feedback. When you're telling a person what you do, be specific. I'm going to take your people and I'm going to do these 3 things. I want you to get away from using vague terms like we just helped this group do this. Let me tell you specifically what we're going to do here.
Coach.
Yes.
So one reason that's tough for us is because we don't want to limit ourselves, because we have so many different platforms that we can tap into. Sometimes my fear in just saying, hey, Mr. Customer, here's what I did for another customer, is what I might end up selling that customer is something completely different than I sold a customer last week. It could be an email platform versus a phone system versus a software solution versus internet. You know what I mean?
I think to answer your question, I would know that through my discovery, though. So what I'm saying is, I got into this with an insurance company yesterday. They were leading with their EOS before they had done discovery, and you don't want to do that. Okay. So what you want to do is, so let me give you the 4 steps to the sale, and I'll show you where it comes in. I'm going to initiate the conversation, Luke. I'm going to disarm, and part of disarming is connecting and doing discovery. Does that make sense? And I'm going to do discovery by asking questions. Okay. I'm going to locate a problem you have. And I like to say locate a significant problem. And then I'm going to offer you a compelling solution to that problem. So I'm not going to lead. What this insurance company was doing is they get a person on the phone and they go, well, let me tell you what we believe over here. And they skipped all the steps. Like, what you should really do is get on the phone and disarm. Hey, where you located? If you're talking to them in person, let me ask you a few questions to find your missing structure. Locate a problem, and then say, great. I may even do some seeding right there. Or would you say you're open to solving that problem? Would you say you're a progressive person? Would you do this? Okay, great. Let me tell you a few things we believe at our company. We believe this, we believe this, we believe this. what if JT met me at the airport today and the very first thing he said, well, coach, you know, how you doing? I said, well, JT, let me tell you what I believe. Okay. He would be like, who's this weirdo? Right now, if I said, JT, where you from? What's going on with you? What industry are you in? Man, what's the biggest thing you got going on right now? What are you struggling with? And at some point I locate a problem. I go, man, let me tell you a couple things I believe. I believe a good coach can change your whole life. I've spent 28 years of my life coaching people like you to get a pretty significant increase. I've done it for a lot of people in your industry. And let me give you a couple examples. If you ever want to get together, JT, once you go your way and I go my way, man, let's follow up. We'll talk about it. That would be how it would work. I'd connected first. See, the insurance company was not connecting people. They were just going right into their EOS. And to your point, Luke, you don't want to prescribe a solution to a problem you don't even know they have, right? Like you want to find the problem and then offer a solution. And the EOS would not come in the beginning. It would come more toward the end. Is everybody clear on that piece?
That helps. It's tough to envision. I can definitely envision that during like an on-site, what I would consider a normal sales call for us, right? When we're not under COVID-19, we're going out to businesses. Like I learned this from Jim. Jim is real good at, picking something out on the wall, kind of talking to the customer about, oh yeah, you're a huge Red Wings fan. Yeah, I was at the, Stanley Cup game in 08 too, or something like that, right? Kind of get that conversation going. Where I struggle with kind of what you're saying is how to do that on maybe a cold call.
Yeah. All right. How do you guys think I build rapport?
During that discussion process, during that initial
You've
discussion.
seen me do it on every one of these calls, right or wrong.
Correct.
Right.
I joke, I laugh, I build connection, I call on people, I interact. That's how I break the wall down, Luke. It's because I make cold calls just like you do. And what I do is I connect first and disarm. Now, I know the DISC profile. I'm certified in DISC, so I can tell when I'm talking to a high D, a high I, a high S, or a high C, and I pivot based on that. When I'm talking to a high D, like I'm a high D, Luke.
Hey,
so,
Coach, can you give us a little context on that high D, et cetera? Because we don't know anything about that. Just real brief.
Yep. Now, a high D is a dominant person. And the DISC tells me they have no time. They're not interested in small talk, rapport building. They want to know how you're going to help them make money or save money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A high I is social. They're like a social butterfly. They'll sit there and talk to you for an hour, Luke, and never buy one thing from you. They just love talking and they love being the center of attention. A high S I think of them as steady, like they're methodical. They may need more information. A high C needs assurance. So if Luke was selling to me, he wouldn't want to go into all this rapport building. He would want to say, look, coach, I believe we found a way to help you make $1 million more a year. And I've done it with 7 people. He may even shortcut Tim Mackin the sales cycle, the whole EOS, and go, let me give you 3 examples of who we've done it for. If we could do this for you, coach, would you take a meeting with me? And I would probably say, take a meeting first with my president. If you can sell her, then you're one step closer to selling me because she's going to make this decision. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
During your call, that nice 2-hour call Thursday night, I immediately by the way, I bought 2 of your books in PDF form, and then I went and took the DISC test. So everybody on my team, I'm going to send you where you take this DISC test now. They will give you your results of who you are, but if you want a more detailed description, it'll give you a full DISC assessment. You have to get them some more information. They try to sell you something. But in 10 minutes after that call, Coach, I'm directive, decisive, driven, and friendly. And then it gives me a short paragraph of what that is. And I think I'd like everybody on my team to take this test. Because what Coach is telling you is true, and it helps you talk to people a whole lot better when you find out who they are.
Now we can administer, and if you want to take the full test, I think it's $99. We can do that. We can do the test for you, and we can do a breakdown of it. And now let me tell you why you need to think about that. If you're serious about selling, I've lost a lot of money, guys, in my life by selling one way. How many of you would consider yourself high D's? Dominant, driven, focused, no
Yep.
nonsense. So guess what you like to do? That's the way you like to sell to people. The way you like to buy is the way you sell. Now, the problem with that is if Dan is a high C, you're going to scare him to death. And he's going to be like, dang, dude, hit the brakes a little bit. Chill out. Like, you're scaring me to death here. Okay. And the concept of the DISC is you communicate with people the way they would like to be communicated with. Okay. So because I went through certification and I got certified, I can pick up Tim Mackin's Tim Mackin probably is a double D if there is a such thing. Okay. Now here's my point. I could tell that in the very first conversation I had with him.
Yeah.
Guy's dominant. He's driven. He's focused. He's no nonsense. He's just like me. So I sell to him that way. So I sent him a message yesterday and I said, Tim, let's go, man. I'm a player. You're a player. We ain't got time to waste, because that's how D's like to be sold to. But if he was a high C, I'd give him data. I'd give him information. I'd give him examples. I'd give him assurance. Tim, you're going to be able to get in touch with me anytime you want. I'm going to meet with you X number of times per month. This is the plan we're going to do for you. This is how much money I think it can make for you. That's what a high C needs. Everybody see that?
Yep.
So that helps a lot. And I see like how that can develop during your conversation. So you're saying like, you make a cold call, let's say, bam, it's the IT guy picks up the phone for a mid-sized company. And your first goal with that conversation, when that person picks up the phone that you've never talked to before, is to initiate conversation and identify how they operate.
Yeah. It's to literally, you've initiated, you disarm through connection. This is why the DISC comes in. When I'm connecting with you, I'm connecting with you based on how you want to be communicated. That's why it gives me an advantage. It's like an unfair advantage I have. Does that make sense? Okay, because on that DISC, when you get certified in it, like on Jim Smotes, here's what it would tell me. It would tell me exactly what would cause him to retreat. Like if you feed him information this way, he will retreat he will contract. Under stress, this is what he'll do. Like it gives me a tremendous advantage because I'm selling to him the way he wants to be sold to, not the way I want to sell him. In the old days, I would just bang on Jim. Boom, boom. Come on, Jim. Let's go, Jim. I can't help you, Jim. Boom, boom. And Jim would be like, whoa. Like, give me, like, slow down, Tiger. Okay. So Luke, what I'm doing is I'm connecting and during my connection, I am locating a problem by asking key questions. Like I was asking that gym owner yesterday, where are you struggling? Can you give me your revenue numbers? Are you struggling with customer acquisition? How many members do you have? How much revenue did you do last year? She told me everything. I did 88,000. I had 165 members. Now I got 120. What do I know her problem is? She can't get customers. She needs a customer acquisition system. She needs a legacy selling system. All right, great. I know I can help you. There's a couple options I want to give you. Here's what we do. We help business owners just like you drive more revenue through consistency and predictability through a selling system. We're going to help you explain your services better. We're going to teach you a selling system. Now, does that sound good to you? And she says, man, it just pisses me off because that's what I thought the franchise was going to be doing for me. Well, you and I both know the franchise ain't going to do that for you. They ain't going to go out and get the customer for you, right? But she don't know that apparently. And so I went back to her and said, well, unfortunately, they're not doing that for you. So you're going to have to learn how to do it. Would you like for me to teach you how to do it? Because that's what we do in our coaching program. She's like, yes. And then she said, let me go to my mom because my mom's going to pay for it. And I'm like, you got a good mama, girl. If you're 30 years old, your mama's going to pay for your coaching. Tell her you want the expensive package. Now, here's my point. My point to you guys is this is very good because Luke, you're learning how this works. A lot of people put the EOS in the beginning and you don't need to put it in the beginning. You need to build rapport and connection. But if you're working with a high D, they're going to be less inclined to sit there and talk for long cycles of time. It's like, hey, I'm in Tennessee. You're in Arizona. Good. Is it sunny in Arizona? Yes. Well, it's raining in Tennessee. Now tell me how you're going to help me make $1 million more. Everybody see that? Like we just cut straight to the chase.
Yeah, and you can tell those high Ds when you're talking to them, because when you try to mix it up and do that little bit of BS, that little bit of talking, they just, what are you calling for? What do you want?
Yeah. So it's like the moment of truth. It's like, we're here. You got my attention.
Yeah.
Now tell me what you're going to help me with. Okay. All right. Any questions about the EOS? Now, let me give you one more, then I'll take any questions that you have. The short version of the EOS is this. I call on Jeremy Hunter and I say, Jeremy, this is what I believe. Here's an example of somebody we've done it for. Does this sound like something you'd be interested in even discussing? See how simple that was? Belief, example, action. I got a belief. Man, I believe with a good coach, you can earn 3 or 4. You're leaving millions of dollars on the table, Jeremy. Now, I routinely help people get a 40% increase. If I could help you get a 40% increase, would you be interested in talking about it? See how boom, boom, boom. He may go, nope, ain't interested. Okay, how fast did I know right there, Luke? In 15 seconds. Right? I'm not interested right now. Okay. Could I try to stay on the phone with him and convince him? Maybe. Or I could say, well, you haven't even seen enough to know if you're, like, I would challenge him. I would say, Jeremy, you don't even know enough to know you're not interested. Right? So you kind of cutting it off there. Would you consider yourself an open person, Jeremy? And he may go, nope, I'm closed off, coach. Okay. Thanks, Jeremy. There's 7 billion people on planet Earth. Let me go to the next person. Some will, some won't. So what? I ain't gonna sit here and spend an hour with you. And then you tell me you don't want to do it. That's why I say, would you consider yourself an open person? Would you consider yourself, you're looking for a lift? If I could save you some money, would you even be interested in it? Like I seed a little bit and then they tell me and then I move into it. Okay. Now let's close with this and I'll take any questions. An EOS, the big difference, I was thinking about this because I know you guys went through an exercise last year where you did an elevator pitch because that's what you knew at that time. The big difference between an elevator pitch and an EOS is you're not leading with what you do, number one, which is the kiss of death in this cycle. You don't lead with what you do. Once you get into it, you lead with what you believe. The next piece is there is no ask in an elevator pitch, right? With the EOS, it ends with an ask, a push to something. If I could do this for you, what would stop us from moving forward? Would you be interested in taking the next meeting? Would you like to go to round 2? It seems like this is perfect for you. What would stop us from doing business with each other? Like there's an ask at the end of an EOS. Okay. And that's a big separator between that and an elevator pitch. Okay. Now, if I was with you here on the elevator, I know I'm on the 38th floor and we rode down together and you said, hey man, what do you do? I may say I routinely help business owners get a 40 to 50% increase in a 1-year cycle. I may say that and they may go, well, how do you do that? Well, it's really based on a set of beliefs I have. I believe this, I believe this, I believe this. If you'd like to talk about it, let's go over and get some coffee. I'll sit down and explain it to you. Like you don't want to be, right? Like I don't say, well, hey, we got 18 seconds and I'm going to share my whole life beliefs. Okay. I may say, I take complicated things and make them real simple. I package and deliver content in a way that gets people to move. I coach and develop the talent within companies that results in millions of new dollars of revenue. That's what I may say. Now, if they go, that's interesting. Okay, good. Well, let's get a cup of coffee and we'll talk about it. And sometimes that equals a sale. You just never know, guys. All right, what questions do you have?
I have a question, Coach. You talked about this disk drive that you do this. So rather than buy it from somebody else, I can connect with you after to get the full assessment of this. And I recommend everybody on my team to look at this because it did give me a paragraph and it truly is how I operate. The short thing, your dominant traits are a little stronger than your inspiring traits. So taking the full test, I think, gives me a lot of more information about myself, and Coach is right. It helps you deal with other people better.
Yeah, I think the test we offer is $99, but it offers like a 28-page breakdown of you.
I will. Should I email you? How do I connect to get that done?
Yeah, you
Coach,
could,
if we do the coaching package, is that included in it?
no, it's not. I could put it on as an add-on because we have to pay for the test ourselves.
Okay.
Through DISC. So it's like we're certified DISC instructors, but we have to pay them for the DISC, like a licensing fee.
Is
Tim,
part of
I'll-
that process a learning session so we can understand these different personality types?
Yeah, what I would do is let you do the personality and then do a whole session, or possibly that would be part of your session when you come together for a retreat. That would be a good time to break those down.
Yeah, let's put that together. I definitely want to do this.
Because a lot of companies, I do this for a lot of executive companies, and what we do is we do the test, and then we do coaching on how to understand it, how to communicate. It really, really helps speed up things because once you understand how to communicate, like my president is a high I with a very strong D. So when we have conflict with each other, she's social, but she can get emotional. And what we've had to do is we've really had to work together, work through that because I'm a non-emotional person. So when she gets emotional, I get frustrated. I'm like, I ain't got time for crying. I ain't got time to sit here and go 47 rounds on this. Like, this is my decision. Now let's go. She, because she understands the DISC and went through the certification with me, she has adapted to understand when we have conflict that ain't gonna work with Coach Burt. Like this, he's not gonna respond well to this. So she's adjusted, and people do adjust their personality styles. It's called adapted versus natural.
That's one of the reasons I need it, and a lot on our team do. So,
Okay. Jim, do you break down crime when you get in conflict?
no.
Just joking with you. All right. So anybody got any questions for me? It's been a good session. Are we getting better at this? You guys feel like we're getting better?
I do. You want to?
This was amazing.
You want to hear something funny?
Yes.
Here's what the elevator pitch. This is what the result of those roundtables that we did working on an elevator pitch resulted in. And this is why, I'm saying we need to do this EOS. Here's I'm going to read it. I'm a business technology advisor leveraging proven technologies. This includes simple phone lines to complex data services. We accomplish this by harnessing the expertise of 150 companies / relationships with service providers globally. I am passionate about solving critical business issues, utilizing, applying, leveraging proven technologies. We pool these partner relationships to develop these solutions, and uniquely, and this wasn't even written right, uniquely, we do this without fees to our customers. Can I ask you a question? What type of technology does your business use today?
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Here's what I'd say.
Did
Can
you
I
just
ask
lose
you a
your hair,
question?
Coach?
I would say, can I ask you a question? Do you have a gun in your pocket so I can shoot myself in the leg after I hear that?
Amen.
Lord, have mercy.
Yep.
No,
So
good.
we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, this is good, guys. If you ever get this down, I'm telling you, you will make more money.
100%.
The day after I learned the EOS, I closed 5 out of 6 deals. The next day. That's how I went away to a cabin, spent time with me and the dude who kind of formulated the concept of EOS, and we just locked ourselves up. And he said, you have put this together faster than any person on the planet, and you are using it faster than any person has ever used it. I used it the next day. I had 6 sales appointments, and I closed 5 of the 6 people. And I called him and I said, man, this is the way to sell. This is the way you sell. It ain't the old way of all that. This is the new way to sell. Line up on what you believe. Be tight. Discipline equals freedom. And if you have a great discipline about this, you'll have tremendous freedom. All right. So Jim, you email me. We'll go to work on that DISC assessment. And it's a real simple.
Yeah.
We have a link. You take the link, you take the test, it pumps out exactly what you need to know. Pumps out a very thorough report. In mine, if you do it for free, you get a little bitty report. If you do the one I'm talking about that's paid, you get like 38 pages.
Yeah.
It breaks down your whole deal.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, it's been a good session. Thank you for being coachable today.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks,
Great,
Coach.
great,
Thanks,
great
Coach.
talk.
Thank you.
In Florida.
Okay, have a great day. I'm Coach Michael Burt, and the #1 book
that I've written over the last couple of years that could help you during these unusual times is a book I wrote called Inside the Mind of a Monster. Now, I want to give you that book. All you have to do is text 678-506-7543. Because when you text that in, I'm going to give you a copy of my book, Inside the Mind of a Monster. And it's going to show you the habits and mindsets of top producers and how they attack every single day versus play defense. Don't you want to play offense? Get this book. I'm giving it to you, and I'm telling you, I'm going to turn you into a legendary creature.